Right now, I'm actually standing inside of the Sea of Galilee. That's right, the famous lake where Jesus walked on water. Which brings me to telling you about the most amazing revelation about water that you have ever heard. So as most of us know from school, our bodies are like 60% water, right? But this doesn't sound like a big deal until we read the very second verse of the entire Bible. See, Genesis tells us in detail how God specifically created all the different things with his spoken word, right? Like, you know, the plants, animals, birds, and fish. But it never actually states that water was created. Because in Genesis 1:2, the second verse of the entire Bible, it literally just all of a sudden says, and then the Spirit of God hovered over the waters, which means that water was never created, but like the Spirit always was and still is. Which brings us to even more so that maybe the Spirit and water is actually one and the same thing. We can see this because these verses in chapter 2 of Genesis make the biggest statement. The verse right before when God created man says this: "Rather, a mist went up from the earth, which watered the entire surface of the ground. And then God formed a person from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life so that he became a living being." So as humans, we were not only created from the dust of the earth, but from the mist of water as well, which of course also by the breath of God. So by the mist of the water and the dust of the earth, just know that God's Spirit can be inside of you. Because after all, Yeshua wasn't called the living water for no reason. Blessings and shalom from the Galilee.